am deeply troubled by the direction of the board concerning John Freshwater and this family who alleges their son has a cross branded into his arm by a Tesla coil back in December. I want everyone to know that I have nothing personally against this family who has brought this lawsuit, but this situation causes me to question some things. You see, if my son came home handed by an electrical device, I am not going to merely take a photograph that could be digitally doctored and enhanced and taken to the school. No, if my son was injured, I am going to take him straight to Mr. White and Mr. Short and ask them what's going on. I would demand a meeting with that teacher. Why? Because I am a man.
Amen.
I am not going to hide behind the cloak of anonymity, especially if I am in the right. That does not teach my son to be a person of character as John is. If I am not satisfied, then I will speak to my attorney. The approach and the timing leads me to question the motives of this family. If you are going to accuse someone of wrongdoing, potentially ruining their career, you should have the guts to confront him first. I want to know why the manufacturer of the Tesla coil was not included in the lawsuit. Could it be that they are afraid that the company would send an expert witness to prove that the device could not have possibly done what they are saying? Again, I have nothing personally against the anonymous family. What does this have to do with the board? Let me connect the dots. It amazes me that this board would permit a family using frivolous lawsuit to bully you into throwing one of the best teachers under the bus to cover up for an administrator's not doing their job, or to get rid of him because he upset some people back in 2003. I say best teacher based on OAT scores. I say best teacher based on the 2007 Distinguished Service Award given by the administration and how liked and respected he is by his students. What does this say to the rest of the teachers in this district? If I'm a teacher and I'm going to question this board's veracity in backing me and someone's falsely accusing me of something, what does this have to say? This opens up a lot of doors about Al Hashak. I apologize if it seemed abrupt, but I can only pray one day to be the man that John Freshwater is.
The next speaker will be Darcy Miller. She will be followed by Levi Stickle.
Good evening. Getting a little tired of coming. I've been standing forever.
You'll have to speak much louder.
I will yell. You said no subtitles. I kind of was silent. I really did. I'll call you back. All right, my time's going. What I want to do is just share with you that I'm a parent of 6 children. I have 4 in the school system. And we have a wonderful school, and I've been 100% behind the school board up until now. And it's not that I'm against the school board, I'm against this decision. John Freshwater, in his OAT scores, it was brought out last month, that he was the only one of the science teachers that actually passed. We're complaining about a teacher who, in the investigation, supposedly is not preparing students to pass the OGT test. It's obvious that he's preparing. You know, he's a man of God, there's no question whatsoever. He's a man of character, he's a man of integrity. And sometimes we get stuck up in certain aspects that we're against, that we're going to fight hard to get someone removed. You know, I'm disappointed as I watched a lot of circumstances come to pass as FCA was getting his hands squeezed, and FCA went from 40 to 60 students to 1 student in 7th grade because they required permission slips. What happened is God was getting pushed out. slowly getting pushed out of the school. And I understand you're scared of religion and scared of being sued, and now that's what it's come to be. You're being sued because of a stand, because of one family that's coming before you, and it has to do with God. You know, this man, John Freshwater, is an incredible teacher. My son, Jacob, is so depressed because he didn't have the opportunity to get Mr. Freshwater, because he assumes that he's fired because you've already made that decision, even though supposedly he's just suspended. He can't believe that he's going to not have that opportunity to have him. He's looked forward to him. He's the same son that came home depressed because FCA was going to be terminated pretty much because they were asking for permission forms. See, Wes stood up here and Andrew stood up here saying that they were teachers that looked up to John Freshwater. See, John Freshwater is a mentor to not only students, but he's a mentor to many teachers. But it also causes some friction with some teachers because they don't like how he handles himself. I just want to say that we need to really look deeper into what we want our school system to be, not about this one little rule. And we're not about this, whether God is in it or not. We need God in our school system, not to be taught, not to be preached to anybody, but we need God in our school system because He is the creator of this earth, and He runs our lives. We need a minute as men and women not to shove it down anyone's face, which is not what John Freshwater does, but we need it for character and integrity. Because we don't have integrity in many of the teachers. We don't have integrity, maybe possibly here, we don't have integrity that we need to be building in our kids.
Amen.
This says Rick Mill. I assume maybe that's Miller, but Rick Mill. That's the way it's written.
Good evening. There are people, even earlier this evening, that were talking about the separation of church and state. And they say that the First Amendment gives a separation of church and state, and that means a teacher cannot have a Bible on their desk, even a personal copy. But it was Fisher Ames who, in August 20th, 1789, suggested the wording for the First Amendment, which was adopted by the House, which stated, "Congress shall make no law establishing religion, or to prevent the free exercise thereof, or to infringe the rights of conscience." I don't see how he's saying a teacher cannot have a Bible on his desk. It doesn't sound like he has a problem with the Bible in the school. As a matter of fact, 1 month later to the day, in a magazine article, he said the Bible should be the principal text in our schools. He didn't have a problem with a teacher having a Bible on their desk. There's a misunderstanding here, because the people who wrote the amendment and Congress don't have a problem with the Bible. In fact, Congress declared 1983 the year of the Bible. It was signed by President Reagan. And in 1845, President Jackson said, "The Bible is the rock upon which our republic rests." Teachers should be allowed to have a copy of this book, which the founders called the rock upon which our republic rests. And they said it should be the principal text in our schools. Teachers should be allowed to have a copy of it on their desk, because we don't want to remove what our country was founded on.